Right, we're going to ask Sydney some questions. We're going to ask Sydney some questions. We're going to ask Sydney some questions. I'm going to ask Sydney some questions. We're going to ask Sydney some questions. Sydney the questions. So we're going to ask Sydney the questions. Sydney, are you in there? Sydney? We like to know, Sydney. It is. We like to know, Sydney. We like to know, Sydney. We really like to know, Sydney. I mean, I'll try and get a better pitch before I ask Sydney. So, if we pick Sydney up. Sydney. Are you there, Sydney? Are you there, Sydney? Sydney, are you there? Are you there, Sydney? She's coming through. She said stale smell. Please stay away from the stale smell. You catch her tuberculosis. She said her fanny still stinks. She say one of her spiders had died. She say that Jeannie Giverton's is still very unhygienic. And what else, Sydney? He said the horse. She rides like a whore. How's Sydney? She says the stale smells invisible in Cleveleys. He smells stale. She's saying something about spots. He says Henry died last week, so it's down to poor hygiene. Sydney says her fanny's been smelling for years and he doesn't stop smelling. Can you tell me, Sydney? Can you tell me why her meat smells? Sydney said he got battered last week. The flies ran out. There's a bit of a struggle over the meal in the dirty knickers. I think it was piss stain hairs. Hang on. Sydney is trying to visualise these yellow spots. Said it stinks a bit dry. Said he's not sure it's piss stain spots or shit stain spots. He said Amy was poorly last week. He had a £1/4 of shit rings. Said he had a brown nose. Hang on, I can see it coming now. I said the lice was hanging off her dirty Tampax. It was a bit ragged. It's like she's never seen a clean pair of knickers in her life. Hey, and what else, Sydney? Can you see anything else down there, Sydney? He says, hang on, Sydney's talking. Yes, Sydney. He says the fly's coming at 6:30. Says when she sits at work, her fanny leaks with a vile smell. She's coming back with Sydney's flies. The flies. He said the flies are delivering. Said that her baby eggs are coming out. Sydney said it's big and black down there and very smelly. Says that she'll never be good looking, she's always ugly. And the stale smell will always stay with her wherever she goes. Yes, Sydney, we can hear you. Something big's coming along. Said her mother. Has passed away. She went with a stale smell. Hang on, no. Sydney said he got it wrong, it was her grandma's passed away. She took a king-size tarantulas out of her dirty knickers and they were burned. He said, stay away from the dirty smell, you'll catch something. Sydney said, it's about a bunch of lice crawling round. Sydney said, stay away. The very smell you don't want to catch. Anymore. Sydney can't find that anymore till later on. Well, thank you, Sydney. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you for explaining. He said, be wise now. He said, you don't want to catch doses. Okay, Sydney. I'm going to give Sydney a wish. Put the dirty smell back in the town. Dirty smell. He's still there. The smell's still flying in the air. The smell's going round the town. The spiders are getting pissed on the smell of Cleveleys town. She said her smelly clothes are hanging across it for the next punter as she wears them. So stay away from the dirty smell of Cleveleys. You catch a dose of lice what crawl round. Her eggs are hatching. Oh, thank you, Sydney. Please, I had to do that for Cleveleys to warn them. And the people out the dirty smell and the people go near us and that, because Sydney said, hang on, Sydney said it could be contagious, contaminating. It's like a yellow stain or something. It says her fanny's like a creamy yellow smell. Right, Sydney. Well, thank you, Sydney, for warning me about the dirty smell of Cleveleys, to stay away. Well, now I know why, Sydney. I mean, Sydney had to get it through to me. He said, you catch lice, you catch doses, and it smells round Cleveleys, and it stinks. He said, shitty fanny's being battered. It's a piece of meat what stinks. Well, thank you, Sydney. And we'll probably do the next reading about Gina Gibberton's The Smell of Cleveleys, what smells, and a mother next time round. You never know what pops out of Sydney. Could tell you everything about Gina Gibberton's. She's told me everything about Gina Gibberton's and the dirty family what smells round Cleveleys.